Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Howitt. Welcome to Unveiling the Truth. This is episode number 12, and today's date is December 28th, 2013. We're getting closer to a new year. 2013 is almost completed. I feel it's been a good year for activists and truthers around the world. Definitely a lot of things were accomplished in 2013, which makes me very proud to be involved with this kind of thing and to be part of the front lines in getting this information out to the public. Today, actually, I wanted to give you guys an update as well on Unveiling the Truth. I'm going to be trying to post episodes in advance from now on the website so that it'll be at least 1 or 2 months ahead of time so that you'll be able to check the schedule and figure out who I'll be interviewing or what topics I'll be discussing on certain dates. So right now we've pretty much got January done. I'm working on February. The next episode, today's episode is with Walter Harris from Brainfeed.ca. He's an Oshawa-based activist, full of knowledge and wisdom, and definitely a great guy to speak to about world issues and concerns. So I'm really looking forward to having him on the show today. We'll be getting him on very shortly. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of information on the upcoming shows that are coming up. So January 4th, which is next weekend, we'll have Kevin Galilei, who's actually a Canadian author who wrote Depopulation Policy Exposed, the book. We'll have him to discuss his book, and Unveiling the Truth is the first Canadian broadcaster or media outlet to cover his story and to interview him on the book. So looking very forward to having Kevin on the show next weekend on January 4th. And then the following weekend, January 11th, we have none other than Mike Pichesny from the Rundown Live from our very own Truth Broadcast Network. He's definitely been involved in a lot of activism. He's had his show for a while. He runs BigPZone.com, and he's interviewed tons of guests on his show. So I'm really looking forward to having Mike on the show on the 11th. And then following that, January 18th, we'll be doing an episode on criminals in government. And that's something I'm looking very forward to. I've been recently the victim. Well, I mean, this has happened for quite some time now, but recently they've been hitting me twice as hard on my YouTube videos, taking them down, blocking them. I made one about Toronto Mayor Rob Ford and his associations with organized crime and his involvement in conspiracy to commit murder, crimes, essentially, that are not being discussed by the media. And they pinpointed that video, they annihilated it off YouTube, and the broadcast that clip was in has also been deleted just a few days ago. So YouTube's got their magnifying glass on me and on my account, and they are trying to block as much information as they can that's coming out of me, which means I have to be very careful with what clips I play. The Rob Ford video was taken down on a copyright claim from Viacom, when the entire 15-minute video that I made was used with short clips from news episodes that were covering the story, as well as footage of Rob Ford from media outlets and stuff, which you're allowed to do. There's something that we have called fair use rights, and that allows reporters and media outlets to use clips from news sources, media, pictures, videos, whatever they need in short clips or increments in their product, into their video, and you're allowed to do this. So despite my rights as a person making these videos and posting them to YouTube, they're still trying to get me on these false allegations of copyright claims and all that stuff. So that's how they're doing it. They're totally deleting a lot of the videos I've been making. I mean, my main personal YouTube account, Mark Howitt, which has close to 13,000 subscribers and over 3 million views, I'm no longer able to upload videos longer than 15 minutes because of this. They took down my Sandy Hook documentary, Malcolm X, JFK, all these documentaries. They're blocking the audio, deleting the videos, which is how they're getting a lot of people. I'm not alone in this. I know there's a lot of other people out there that are also being attacked and ridiculed for the information that they're presenting. When you're stepping on big toes, they don't like it. They'll try to take you down, and that's exactly what's happening with me. I mean, Rob Ford lives not far from here, and I'm associated him with organized crime and all this stuff, so you know what I mean? It's not too far from home here, and They don't like that. I guarantee you they don't like that. So I'm really looking forward to January 18th, Criminals in Government. I'll be exposing the whole enchilada, going into detail about the history of organized crime working with government, as well as naming names, organizations, based off the information that I've researched, as well as I'll be bringing up the Rob Ford case and I'll be discussing it. I won't be using any video clips or news clips, so they can't take that video down. So that goes for you guys who out there who are trying to take down my videos. You can't stop me. You can try, but it's not going to happen. So January 25th is another episode. I'm just waiting to confirm that. The guest for that show, as well as February 1st, actually. But February 8th, I'm really looking forward to that interview as well. I'll be interviewing Judith Very Baker, who is known for being the mistress of Lee Harvey Oswald, the one who the government claims killed John F. Kennedy. She's also the author of a book, Me and Lee, How I Came to Love Lee Harvey Oswald. Definitely a great book. I have a copy signed in my personal collection, and I definitely look forward to having Judith on. She was actually also in the last documentary I made, New World Order Domino Effect. She was working with the cancer industry, weaponizing cancer so that the CIA and other groups could use the cancer to kill people. And that's what's happening today. A lot of people are dying quickly because of cancer injections. I mean, look at Bob Marley, what happened to him. He slipped on a shoe, he got poked with the copper, cancer grew in his toe, and he died of cancer. It spread throughout his whole body because he didn't really get it checked at the time. So Jack Ruby as well, the guy who assassinated Lee Harvey Oswald, also died quickly of cancer. All these people, that's how they're getting you now. It's a silent way of assassinating somebody, really. So there's no trace led back to any agency or group, and that's why it's so effective. And Judith Baker was actually pretty much the one who discovered that you could quickly make cancer. Actually, she was working in her own laboratory developing cancer strains, and she was able to have a high success rate with lab mice that she was working with, and she was able to have the cancer grow within 7 days and kill the mice. So obviously the Cancer Society, the CIA, were very interested in her work, and they actually brought her to New Orleans, and that's how she met Lee Harvey Oswald. We're going to get into that whole story when she's on the show on February 8th. So I'm really looking forward to having Judith on the show. I've been speaking to her for the last year and a half or so through emails and stuff, and she's definitely a wonderful woman, and it's going to be a great show for you guys. But before I get Walter on here for the interview, I wanted to show you guys. I just got this book. I finally got it in the mail, and I wanted to show you guys firsthand how beautiful this book is. As you might be aware, one of my past guests was political artist David Dees, and he actually sent me a signed copy of his book here. I'll try to get that on the screen for you guys here so it looks better. But here's the book. It's like a wide book format. It's large for the prints, and you guys are definitely probably aware of some of the art that he's done. This book here has tons and tons of great images, just famous images that he's made. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen the mainstream media brainwash image. Well, that was the work of David Dees. So many wonderful full-color pictures in this book. If you got a chance, definitely pick up this book. It's got a lot of his greatest work, and he's really working on another book as well. And another great thing about this book I had to show you guys, I believe he signs them all if you order a copy. So there we have his autograph. There's a biography on David there, but also every picture that he did on this page here, it lists the picture, and then it lists documentaries to check out relating to the picture or the images portrayed in the picture or the message that he's trying to portray in the image. So there's a ton of information in here that you could look up and cross-reference to learn about why he made these pictures. A very beautiful book. You can get that from rents.com or his website, ddees.com. He's definitely one of a kind. I think he should be considered as the pioneer of political art, for modern political art using digital means. So definitely check that book out if you got a chance. Another thing, since Christmas just passed, I want to wish everybody happy holidays. I don't religiously celebrate Christmas or anything like that because I understand the history of it, and it's just a big fiasco in my opinion. But I do use the Christmas season to meet with family and join with friends and family, essentially, and visit them, which is what I think it's all about. It's a good time of year for family members to gather and see each other at least once a year. So I want to wish everybody out there a happy holidays and as well a happy new year, because New Year's is right around the corner. 2014 is approaching fast. But I definitely got to show you guys this video here. I mean, a couple of videos, just quick videos here. Very, very shocking stuff here. Definitely. And this relates to Black Friday. I'm not sure if you guys have seen what happened the last Black Friday, but Black Friday is essentially a time when businesses break the break-even point or whatever. They reach their black zone or whatever, and then they offer their products for super cheap. So people flock to stores and to get the best deals on products. But this past year was just, in my opinion, definitely a disgraceful event for the human race as a whole. Without further ado, I'm going to get this video on here. This is just ridiculous from Black Friday. I mean, just seeing videos of people acting like this just makes me sick to my stomach.
You're watching America This Morning.
Make sure it all works out fine. And again, this is from this past Black Friday. This is a news clip from that reporting on what happened, and a lot of people caught some of the events on their cell phones. It's just unreal.
You're watching America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Good Friday morning to you. We do begin with breaking news. Shots ring out outside of a department store filled with holiday shoppers.
It happened in the parking lot of a Kohl's in suburban Chicago. Several people are hurt, including police officers. No officers were shot. None of the injuries said to be life-threatening. Witnesses say a suspect tried to shoplift from the store and ran to a getaway car. A vehicle on the scene is riddled with bullet holes. Less violent but chaotic. Scenes unfolding in several locations. Eager shoppers looking to get the best deals.
ABC's Tamon Bradley reports on all of the shopping madness.
It's the national holiday shopping spree, but not everyone is in the holiday spirit. Overnight, wild scenes of Black Friday shopping. In Romeoville, Illinois, police fired shots at a man trying to rob a Kohl's. The suspect and 2 officers were taken to the hospital. In Southeast Texas, a Walmart customer grew aggravated when the store gave out TVs to the back end of the line.
The lady cut in front of her, and they tried to get the TV from her, so she just started hitting her.
Another Walmart customer in New Jersey got into a scuffle with police. Walmart corporate released a statement overnight saying, "Our stores and employees did a good job calming things down quickly when incidents occurred last year, and we anticipate that to continue this year." These Black Friday shoppers were more tame and thrilled with the eye-popping deals.
We're here to get the PlayStation for $99.
I'm here early just so I can get in and out and go to the next store.
This year, holiday sales are expected to hit nearly $600 billion, and stores tried to cash in by opening on Thanksgiving.
Thought we'd get out and beat the rush.
Hopefully they'll get their Skylander and get all their dolls and toys and over with.
The deals this year are better than ever. The average discount, 35% off. That's up from 25% in 2010. 140 million Americans are expected to shop in stores or online this weekend. Experts say there's no rush. Many retailers will keep these deals through the season. Tamon Bradley, ABC News, Washington.
Thanks to Tamon for that. Black Friday, of course, is a reference to the day when many retailers finally go into the black, starting a profit for the year.
Registers will be ringing across the nation once again today, and for some of those who went shopping yesterday, it was just a way to pass the time.
My wife is a nurse. She's working 7 to 7 today, so we're celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow.
So might as well do something, right?
Right. Better than sitting with the dog all day watching TV.
He's got a lot of people to keep him company. For those of you counting, by the way, there are now only 26 shopping days left until Christmas.
That's
only
frightening.
26.
That is frightening. All right, brings us to our Facebook question of the day. What are your shopping plans for Black Friday? That is, will you spend more this year? Log on to atmfans.com and make sure you let us know.
Now this is a raw video that somebody took from inside the store. These are a compilation of raw videos.
World Star! World Star! Hey, yo, World Star!
Unbelievable.
Bang, bang! Let's win them out! Come on! Oh, fuck! Bang, bang! Let's go!
I mean, what is wrong with the human race, right? Watching this, I feel ashamed almost to be a human being. I can't believe that people act like this in public. I mean, what are their kids thinking, you know? Like, unbelievable that people act
Carrie,
like this. It's like
make a
herd
loud noise
mentality.
and
it's like
do
a
that.
virus. Just, unreal. Unbelievable. Fights, shootouts, theft, violence, assaults. You know,
Ethan,
just
move, Ethan.
disrespect.
Move, Ethan.
People disrespecting each other. The relationships are just corrupted here. Like, and people are all out for themselves.
Oh my
it
gosh,
seems
calm
here.
down.
You know
You
what I
can't.
There you go. This is what we're resorting to, people. I'm sure you viewers out there listening live right now. I mean, I'm sure you guys aren't like this. This one gets tased. I gotta show you guys another video here. There's a cell phone video that somebody took in the store, and then the Walmart employee told him to shut it off. I mean, this video here is 7 minutes long of just clips from violence and people fighting, and this is all from this past Black Friday, 2013 Black Friday. So, I'm gonna show you guys this other video that this guy took with his cell phone. It's only 1 minute. And I believe these people are fighting over a TV. Yeah. Just to get a TV. The man assaults the woman to get a TV. So there you have it, folks. Black Friday. I never went out on Black Friday, that's for sure. Why? Because I didn't want to. Really, I don't feel a need to buy a million things at Christmas time or anything. I mean, I like to spend time with my family and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. But I mean, you wouldn't see me out there fighting people to get a TV or anything like that. I mean, it's not important to me. Those things are not important to me. And I guess some people are just very materialistic and they just have to have things, and they're willing to fight and die and go to jail and risk their life and their freedom over a TV or a box of crackers. I mean, come on. What's this world coming to? Unreal. So without further ado, though, I mean, I'm sure this man will have a lot to say about this. The guest today, Walter Harris, I know he's waiting there to be called in, so I'm gonna get him on the line, and we're gonna start the interview here, and we'll see what he has to say about all this madness that happens around Christmas time. So I'm gonna get him on, and I'm gonna give him a call. Hello.
Yo.
Hey, Walter. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for asking. Just got you on. Everything seems to be working fine. So yeah, it's
Awesome.
great to have you on the show today, for sure. Were you just watching the clips I was showing?
I
Uh,
was.
oh yeah. So what's your input on that?
Well, I think it's important to note that there are no police and no politicians and no authority figures standing with guns telling these people to do that to each other.
Yeah, you're right. It's
You know what I mean?
the human condition. I think not all humans are like that, but I mean that's pretty crazy when people are fighting over TVs and getting tased, shooting, all sorts of things. It's pretty crazy for
Yeah,
sure.
it's entirely free willed, right? I mean,
Hmm.
they've uh, allowed themselves to go to that lower state of consciousness and just go and treat each other like pure animals, and that's what's happening. You
Yeah.
see a subclass coming to life right in front of our eyes, right?
Hmm. So yeah, for anybody out there who doesn't know who the guest is today, this is Walter Harris. He runs a really great website called Brainfeed.ca. If you got the internet on there, you want to check it out after the show, definitely check out Brainfeed.ca. Great website, and you do also make your own videos and do reports on news stories, and you cover protests and stuff like that. And you make videos, put them on the website, and you also post news articles, stories, and such like that. Which is great. That's actually how we were introduced. I was doing the March of Freedom, and I came through Oshawa, which isn't too far from where I live. It's a few hours south, and I was introduced to him through a mutual friend named Barry Dutton, who's a great guy. And we were introduced, and when I met Walter, instantly I was like, wow, this guy really knows what's going on. He's got his brain feed, is a great website. You know what I mean? It was really apparent that you work hard and you make videos. You do a lot of this stuff yourself. Could you explain to the viewers out there how you got involved and what gave you the idea to start Brainfeed?
Absolutely, and thanks for all the compliments, Mark. That's awesome. It's nice to hear
Well
things like
deserved,
that.
my friend. Well deserved.
Okay. So basically, I kind of made some notes. So this is my first interview, so give me a break, anyone out there watching. I'm kind of just getting used to this type of thing. But where did Brainfeed come from? Well, in high school, I kind of developed an interest for law and history and politics. And then there's Google Video just started to come out, and YouTube as well. And I watched a couple videos that some would say conspiracy theory, were conspiracy theory oriented. And one of them was about the Vatican, how they've been covering up the whole cases of pedophiles and pedophilia for years. Another one was, about the New World Order and the Planet X and aliens and secret societies. I was just going down the rabbit hole, and then that led me to like Alex Jones and what he was up to, and then I finally saw Loose Change. And that's when a big change happened. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Loose change, and how 9/11 was an inside job, or so-called inside job. And it was a false flag attack, and all the evidence pointing to how it was a false flag attack and how they've been lying about everything. And that really shook me, because then it hit me that it wasn't just these people, like a few politicians in the States or the CIA that was covering things up. It was like a global thing. It was something that was happening everywhere. It was happening in Canada. Canada was involved and has been involved with this stuff for forever. And the whole world is just there's a giant cloak is being on everything. It's like they're lying about everything, and that really shook me up. So for that reason, in high school, I decided that I wanted to go to university and study criminology and justice, because I wanted to see what they were going to say about all this. So I went to University of Ontario Institute of Technology to study criminology and justice, and I learned a few things there. Like one of the most important things I learned was that conspiracy theory is a very dirty world in the political and academic world. So you don't talk about conspiracy theories, because they just look at you like you're an alien, like you got three eyes or something,
Hmm.
right? And then I also realized that most of the professors and the courses were designed on purpose to ignore the big picture or the end game. The whole idea that the elites are pushing for full control of society, and how they really want to scientifically, control everything. I realized that they didn't want to talk about that at all. Like they just totally ignore that. And if someone brought that up, like I did, they would look the other way or try to discredit what you're talking about. And there are many instances that I wish I knew stuff now that I knew back then, because I would have caught the professors on a lot more, right? But what can you do, right? So what else did I learn? I learned that the professors are extremely controlled. I mean, I had examples or experiences with my politics teacher. I took it for 2 years because he would kind of tell the truth, so much of the truth not to get in trouble. My politics teacher would tell, and he even told the class that a couple of years earlier he was threatened by the dean to lose his tenure and his job if he said certain things because a student of his went to the dean and saying that he was trying to start a student riot. So this guy was talking about some of the truth, like he wouldn't name names and he wouldn't explain exactly what was going on, but he was saying how he was just showing you politically how corrupt everything was.
Yeah, he's
So
pointing
that
you in
was-
the direction, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And he helped me out with a few of my own essays, like for other courses and too. He was a really nice guy, but he was a great example of how things were really controlled. Like these professors can't say a word really, because they'll lose their job and they'll go after them and whatnot. What else did I realized that my courses, at least personally, my courses, my criminology and justice courses were designed, I would liken it to big pharma, meaning that they discussed and attempted to treat symptoms of the problem rather than looking at the source of the problems within society. So we had a lot of them trying to say, oh, if we change spending here, if we changed a couple laws here, this would fix this problem, this would fix that problem. But like I said before, they would totally ignore the big picture of what's going on, the lack of resources or the lack of the inequality of the funding of resources and how resources are being used and how society is being manipulated and all that type of stuff. They wouldn't talk about any of that. It was just about little minute details.
So essentially, like anything that you're bringing up that was valid, that deserved further looking into, they just ignore it. That's definitely a way to condition people too, to get them out on the workforce without asking any questions. Just do your job, get her done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a slave state, right?
Yeah.
But also, again, the students themselves, I mean, even before going through the conditioning, a lot of them seem pacified and passive themselves. I mean, a lot of them only worried about their grades and regurgitating the book. There were very few people who openly questioned the structure of society or the control system. I was one of the few. And for those who did understand the truth or how conspiracy works into the truth of our reality, few of them would admit it, and even fewer of them would ever speak out about it. So it was a very very lonely when it comes to talking about the truth in my university, which was kind of disappointing because I was hoping that I would go to university and meet a bunch of people that were kind of rebellious like me and wanted to start something and really get the info out there, right? But what are you going to do, right? I still learned lots of stuff.
Did you were you able to complete your courses or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I graduated a year and a half ago. I graduated, so I got through it. I kind of bit my tongue a lot of the end there, and I just kind of did it. But yeah, on the positive note, like I was saying, you know, it was fun, you know, partying in university and meeting cool people, and I developed great researching and writing skills. And my program was pretty awesome because we had 40 different courses. So I was learning about Canadian law, public policy, politics, social control, social sciences, deviant psychology, just to name a few, right? So it kind of gave me a pretty broad perspective of how this control slavery grid works, which was awesome.
Yeah, totally. So now you got a really good perspective on how this whole bubble operates, and you're looking at it from the outside in rather than from the center of it looking out. So that's
absolutely
good perspective there for sure. So Brainfeed.ca, I guess after doing this stuff, did you feel that was your next step to try to do something about the problems, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much. I graduated from university and I spent the next year or so just researching, and I started looking into more spiritual stuff, different and like occult, more about the occult and the whole numerology and all that type of different sciences, the mystic schools and all that type of stuff that weren't discussed that much in my course, because I was really looking into I wanted to figure out what these guys knew, you know, in the secret society. So I did a little bit of that, and then in 2012, last fall, I started Brainfeed.ca, and then I started the YouTube channel Brainfeed CA, and I started posting up videos that I thought were important, that I wanted other people to see, and I wanted to make sure that people could go to one spot and see these if they wanted to see them, right? And so since last year, I posted lots of videos about myself, a lot of other people and other researchers' videos. I've helped organize the March Against Monsanto and the March Against Corruption in Oshawa. I've filmed over a dozen local community events, including your March of Freedom.
Yeah.
And the brain feed, the meaning of brain feed continues to develop and change and organically grow because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's the one thing. When I was in Oshawa, it was very cool to meet you. And when you came there, you know, you had your video camera and you got it all set up. So you like to document anything that's happening in your community and then get that on the Brainfeed site. But do you also cover non-local issues as well and do stories? Like, do you try to cover events or do your own takes on other things that are not local?
Yeah, sometimes. It's been hard over last year because I've been really busy. Like, I still work part-time, so I'm trying to balance everything, and I haven't concentrated. I guess I'm going to be focusing more on Brainfeed in the new year. So It's been hard to get around a lot more because I'd like to go to Toronto and cover more stuff in Toronto as well. But I have been trying to cover different things like, for instance, when Windsor got rid of the water, fluoride out of their water. I tried to do a video about that. And then also the whole Rob Ford thing. Like, it's funny that you brought up the Rob Ford thing because my video, because I did a video about Rob Ford talking about the similar idea of how, like, this guy, Lisi is a mafia hitman, really. I mean, if you look at it, it seems like he's like a mob guy, like an enforcer, or a drug dealer, right? And how these guys, how there's that questionable death, that video guy, that questionable death. So I did a video about that, and it's funny that you brought it up because Viacom tried to take my video down, but I just waited it out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because
they didn't give me an option. It just said YouTube has deleted your video. I'm like,
oh,
whoa.
Wow.
Deleted. Like, usually it says copyright, you have to do some things, but they totally deleted it. And it's because I was naming Anthony Smith, the gentleman who was murdered, in relation to the videos, and he was also involved with obviously criminal organizations in Toronto. Toronto is very heavily influenced by gangs. It has a lot of gangs, street gangs, and also a mafia present. Definitely, there is a big organized crime presence in Toronto, and it's, in my opinion, it seems Rob Ford's connected to that somehow. You know, for sure.
Come on, I mean, you just look at Toronto. I think it's the biggest city in Canada, right? So obviously there's a lot of organized crime going on. And then I mean, if you look at Rob Ford, I mean, this guy, I swear to God, I've seen this guy drunk on air, like live before, at least a couple times. You know what I mean? If you look at him sometimes, he's like wobbling, his eyes are bloodshot. So it's a joke. They can pretty much do whatever they want and get away with it. It's pretty sad.
If you're doing that, like, after work, you know, if you're going out to have a couple drinks with some friends after your work, whatever, you know, but if you're on the job and you have to be a role model when you're a mayor, you know, you can't be walking around being drunk and stoned all the time. But really, when he lies to the public so much, saying he didn't do cocaine, there's no video, then they find the video. Another thing too to point out here is the local police, Toronto police, as well as some elements of the RCMP, are complicit to what's going on, and they're hiding information from the public in regards to this big time. So
no, for sure. It's all a political scheme, right? It's when you look at the hierarchy of politics, man, it's like there's always someone above you, right? There's always someone above Rob Ford. There's always someone above the chief of police and stuff, right? So, you know, they're always controlling each other, and it's a political game. Like, we're doing our thing here, you know, having an online conversation with people and whatever, but they're playing a political game too. It's just a different type of game, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know what's going to happen there with Rob Ford, but time will tell. I know that other members of the Chamber of Commerce in Toronto and stuff like that are saying, you know, there's probably going to be more information coming out, and we're not looking forward to that. So I think some of them even know what's going on. They're just not telling the public. They know that he's linked to this murder, and probably other murders as well, if he can get rid of somebody that quickly.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, the public has no clue of what's going on, and that should be common sense by now. You know, it's just they think about it. How many we know that? Well, me and you, we know, and people that follow this type of information know that the people in power, majority of them are psychopaths. So what do you think they're doing on the weekends? You know what I mean? And we don't talk about that. We don't talk about the crazy things these guys are into. Yeah. And the media never talks about it. So do you think they get people just disappear sometimes? You know, we don't know what they're doing. I mean, in your I think in your documentary, or I've seen in other documentaries how they're talking about like the old queen and kings of England and stuff like that used to bathe in blood and all that type of stuff. I mean, these people are insane, right? So what do you think they're doing on the weekend, except besides smoking crack and killing off people that videotape them?
I think they're also involved with child pedophilia rings where they kidnap children or breed children from birth so that they don't even know right or wrong. Even they don't even know where they actually came from. Baby snatchers, stuff like that. They're taking these children, raising them, abusing them, having sex with them, defiling these children so that they grow up thinking that's normal. And I've definitely heard lots of stories. There's even articles about this, videos about it, how it's pretty sick, man.
Well,
and
it's funny because like the first people should it should be common sense. If you look at our news and you think, when's the last time we heard about a person in power doing weird things like that? It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially in Canada, it never comes out that a politician or something is some sort of psychopathic killer.
Yeah, and look at that the military general that was busted for serial murder. He was actually breaking into women's houses and stealing all their underwear from their drawers, their sex, their dildos or whatever bringing them home as trophies. But then he started killing them, and he got busted for that.
He must have pissed someone off, right?
Yeah, and he was a military general, but it's crazy that he never got caught for so long. And even in Canada here, we don't really know about that too much. Like, it's not a common news story to hear about that guy. Actually, I think I might have just deleted the video from my computer here, but I had a nice documentary on it I was watching. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The general. Just for the viewers out there to...
I forgot his name now too. But that's what exactly I'm talking about. I mean, he must have pissed someone off, and how much of that is going on in Canada, do you think? And we don't hear anything about it. It's really hard to find information about that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like even in the States, we never hear anything about politicians in the States getting caught for that. But I'm sure that it's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Definitely. So you were recently involved with the March Against Corruption, which was, I believe it was a worldwide march. I don't think it was as large as March Against Monsanto, but it still had quite a few cities involved with that. How did that go there in Oshawa?
It was awesome. It was about just over a dozen of us, I think, about 15, 20 of us was out there yelling at the banks and whatnot. I was there filming. It was a good time.
Yeah.
I put a video together. It's on my Brainfeed CA YouTube channel if people want to check it out. It was really about getting in people's faces about it,
Yeah, and spreading awareness on a multitude of issues as well. I think that was the whole deal behind that, was to cover as many issues as you can.
Absolutely. I mean, really, corruption is more than just the banks, right? I mean, it goes into personal corruption. Like we're talking about with the whole Black Friday videos. I mean, that's corruption. If you want to look at corruption, those videos that you showed, that's corruption, man.
That's the effect of corruption. It's working on the people, obviously.
Absolutely.
It's in their video games and movies to act like that, so they're like, oh, okay, this must be real. I always tell my kids, you're watching a movie right now, or you're playing a game right now. It's not real, you gotta separate the fiction from reality, I think, big time.
Yeah.
And another thing too, I was gonna ask you, going back to how you went to school and stuff like that to learn about politics and all this other stuff. It seemed like from the way you explained it that you were already awakened to this kind of information or what was going on before you even went there. Could you explain a little bit how you, I guess you could say, woke up, or how you got involved in researching this kind of material?
Well, like really, I was just in high school. I started going on YouTube and following down the conspiracy hole. I was watching all the videos I could, trying to absorb any information I could, and just really looking into all these crazy things, and especially 9/11. Alex Jones did a great job for me. Actually, I didn't mention this before, but during university, I used a lot of Alex Jones's work and his articles and stuff to actually write my essays, which was awesome because I would write these essays, give it to them, and they would give me B+, A, and blah blah blah. Pretty good marks, decent marks for material that was pretty much what Alex Jones was talking about. So that was pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
cool.
that and also my father. My father's always been into this type of stuff. Like he's the one that introduced me to David Icke back,
Mhm.
like 6 years ago. So he introduced me to David Icke, started looking into that type of stuff. So he's always had a very open mind and allowed me to talk about these issues without feeling like I was going to be judged or looked down upon or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was actually gonna to mention because when I met you, you mentioned that you have a family that's pretty involved with music and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, you'd get along with them really good. And actually, I have some of them on my Facebook now, and I believe there's even I think it might be your uncle watching the show, maybe.
I'm not sure if my uncle is, but CD is
Yes.
my dad, Carlos.
Okay, yeah, that's who it is. Yeah, CD. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's great that he's listening right now, and that was really it was really good to hear you mention that your dad and your uncle and some of your family members are also aware of this kind of information because, as you're probably aware, a lot of families out there, myself is definitely included in this ratio, I guess, is they'll look at you like you're the black sheep. You know what I mean? If you start talking about this kind of stuff, especially at family gatherings and stuff, you get ridiculed. They don't take you seriously, et cetera, et cetera. But you seem to have members in your family that you can talk to this about, and especially your father. That's a great thing because a lot of people don't have that relationship with their family members. Have they always supported your work and what you've looked into, and have they also helped give you information and point you in the right direction?
Oh, for sure. My dad and my uncle, they're characters, right? So it's awesome, and because they're musicians, right? So they've got that right brain working. So it's pretty. They're acceptable of anything and everything, right? So and they've always been very supportive of what I'm talking about and what I do, and through the tough times and all that type of stuff. So it's awesome been having them by my side and continue by my side because they're still busy doing their thing, and Brainfeed's not over yet. We're just getting started, right?
Yeah.
So things are going to be interesting as everything keeps progressing, which is going to be awesome to watch. But at the same time, I just have family members that think I'm a nut too. As everyone do. They're like, "What are you talking about? Harper's doing okay." It's like, "Oh, you don't even get it. Come on, Harper. You're still talking about Harper." It's we all have that. It's about dealing with these people. It's about dealing with people that don't have the are still kind of blind to what's going on. Still have the truth being veiled, right?
Yeah. Do they like write truth music or talk about this stuff in the music they do?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot
cool.
of aspects of the whole resistance and their first CD. On their first CD, they've got a song called Resistance. I'll send you over the CD.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, they've got a lot going on, and they've got a new CD coming out next year, I believe, and I'm sure there'll be songs about. And their band's called Raised Emotionally Dead. That's my uncle's band, by the way. If you guys want to check out Raised Emotionally Dead, there's some music, food for thought, I guess, if you want to call it that, because they do talk about societal issues and political issues and all that type of stuff in their music. But they also rock out. It's also about partying and having fun because we got to have fun. If this is not fun, what's the point of doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's awesome to hear that you have a good influence like that supporting your work and stuff.
Like I said, when you come down with your band, we'll have to hook up. We'll do a big show and all that, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll be doing much touring with any of the bands I'm doing work for now, but we'll see. Like it's all up in the air right now. But I went really hard for years doing music, and then I just kind of suddenly realized, like I can't do this for my whole life. Like it's more of a hobby rather than a job. Like it wasn't paying the bills. When you leave on tour for 2 or 3 months at a time, you're not paying your bills at home, and you're away from home. So it's really hard if you're trying to get by as a musician nowadays, especially. So that's why I kind of changed my priorities, and I'm doing the show now, and I'm doing all sorts of other things because not for employment or income or anything like that, because I definitely don't want to be associated with the system, the matrix. You know what I mean? I tried to pull myself out of that. I mean,
yeah.
I'll pay product taxes and stuff like that, but the government ain't getting a dime from me. That's for sure. If I can handle that, or if I can make sure that they're not getting anything from me, then that's the best way to just disassociate yourself. How do you feel about that? Did you learn about the straw man in your classes?
No, they didn't teach about that.
Oh no.
No, they didn't teach about that.
They
Not at
should.
all.
That should be that should be something they teach you right away. Flip over your birth certificate. Look at the number on the back. You are a number.
No, they don't. No, they don't talk about that, man, because they're owned by the corporations, right? You got to look
Yeah.
at who's funding the universities, and then that'll tell you why they're not teaching you the truth. They're holding the system together, right? Status quo,
Yeah.
maintaining it. But about the money thing, I think it's good that you mentioned that, and the whole not being not identifying yourself about what you own and how much money you have and all that, because I just want to say, like, when I start talking about different theories or ideas or this or that, it's not, I didn't make them all up. A lot of the stuff I borrow from other researchers and different people that I've listened to along the way. So these are not all my own thoughts. I just want
That's
to warn
good
you about
though.
that.
It's good to be influenced by somebody and take their work and expand upon it if you can, because that's how the truth gets out, and that's how we come to greater realizations, I think, and solutions to some of the problems as well. It can be
Absolutely.
achieved that way.
Like the money thing, for instance. Like, there's a researcher out there. I'll plug him. His name's Lennon Honor. He does a great job. He talks about relationships, positive relationships. He talks about symbolism and all these type of things. So if you guys look out Lennon Honor, he's got a lot of good work. Anyways, one thing that he said a few months ago, and I thought, oh, that's brilliant, is he said that human beings they have an identity crisis, where that's why we're in this predicament. One of the main reasons why we're in this spot right now in society is because we don't know who we are and we don't know what the world is. Like we're talking about money. A lot of people identify themselves with what they're wearing or how they look or how much money they have. So instead of identifying themselves about that, we need to start looking at, who human beings are. Like, we're supposed to be beings on this planet, and we're supposed to be a community, a loving community, and all that type of ideas, all those good things.
Yeah, definitely a good way of describing that is identity crisis,
Yeah.
conflict of identity. And based upon my research, I definitely see that these globalists in the history books, in the education systems, etc., have programmed us to believe we're something that we're not.
Yeah, absolutely. And the program is slipping deeper and deeper. That's what people need to see, is like, we're in a crisis, that's for sure. I've got these notes that I made. One of them, let me just, where is it? Hold on. Anyways, the point I was going to make was that, when a disaster strikes or a crisis strikes, like a city or a town or whatever, human beings tend to unite and work together on all this, right? And you see that, what happened with the floods in Calgary this year, or Alberta this year, and all over the world. When something happens, people tend to usually work together. But the problem is that I don't understand how come people don't see that we're in a crisis right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we're in quicksand and we're sinking. We got to get ourselves out of there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so important that you're doing what you're doing, as well as the Truth Broadcast Network and groups like that, independent broadcasters, independent media. It's so important because these issues that we're addressing are the most important issues that are facing humanity and the entire planet. You can't you can't argue that our well-being and our survival on this planet should not be the most important thing that we maintain, I think.
Yeah, well, we have to remember what's important. That's the thing. Like, we're talking about this whole identity crisis and how they keep the programming. It gets darker and darker. They're slowly turning us into some sort of unrelatable robot, alien, subclass, monster, animal that's fighting over TVs.
Yeah.
Right now it's kind of like once or twice a year, but soon it's going to be all the time.
Yeah.
We're going to be, tasering and fighting each other over a TV or whatever it is, and it's going to be, it's sad and it's sick, like you said, and that's really the mind control. That's where we're heading. People need to realize that's a crisis, and we need to divert that crisis by expanding minds and talking about the truth and speaking about things that we should have known by now. Common sense, things that they don't want us to know. There's a lot of information they don't want us to know. And we need to start talking about it. And that's what you're doing with your show. And others are doing it. And I'm trying to do that. So that's really what what
Yeah.
my main focus is. Right?
Unveil the truth and get the information out there. That's what we got to do for sure, because it is veiled in secrecy for sure. So it's once you take off the
But
blindfold, you can see it.
at the same time, though, a lot of it is there are stuff in secrecy, but a lot of it is just common sense stuff that like I figured it out, and I don't. You know, it's just like you don't treat your neighbor like that. You don't punch a guy in the head for a TV.
Yeah.
That's not really secret, man. That's just
Common sense, yeah.
Yeah, that's stupidity. What's going on? You know, it's a willful act of ignorance. You know, and that it goes back to my theories about what's going on. You know, one thing I want to talk about quickly is I've got some theories of I've got 4 points here that I want to bring up.
Yeah, for sure.
About why I think this is going on, and this is borrowed from other researchers. So as of right now, number one, I think I've labeled this. I made this up today too, so this is something new. So it's a new concept. I'm working with it. It's called the Triple D. Okay, kind of like that show, that Food Network show, the Triple D.
Yeah.
Distracted, divided, and dehumanized. Right, so we've become distracted from reality with politics, materialism, corporatism, and the religion, etc. All these factors, and then we've become divided based on this propaganda and the focus on above divisions. Right, so they've used these things to distract us, so we don't know what's really important anymore, and then they've divided us out into classes based on these distractions. It's like, oh, this guy's got money, so he's going to go in that class. So this guy's got no money, so he's going to go in that class. And those people are going to fight. Or like different religions or different races or whatever, right? And then because of that, they've dehumanized us. Now we're nothing but what we've identified ourselves with, right? We're money, or we're poverty, or we're this religion, we're that religion. We're either liberal or conservative. And because of that, we've dehumanized ourselves, and we don't even relate to one another anymore. Which is a sad thing, right?
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting that for sure. The Triple D. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. I made that today. So the next thing I'd like to say is that we become unbalanced. We don't know, like there's very few people, I think, that I've talked to that meditate. Although there is a reinsurgence of meditation and there's a lot more people doing it nowadays. But even then, I don't think there's enough people meditating and reflecting on issues of their life or just the world and thinking of that, you know, taking the time out of their day to really reflect on what's happening. I don't think that happens enough because everyone's go, try to make the money and all that type of stuff. So, and then at the same time, we're unbalanced because we feed our egos rather than learning discipline and rather than working with one another. It's all about me, you know?
Yeah.
And then finally, many of us are unable to unify our minds, body, and spirit. That's the thing and this is kind of borrowed. I heard this from Mark Passio. That's another person you guys should, whoever's out there listening, to check out because he's got a lot of great work. Mark Passio, he runs a site called What on Earth is Happening, and man, there's a lot of knowledge there. And one thing that he said in a video I watched a few months ago is that the elite, whether or not they're good or bad, it doesn't really matter. The point is that they're unified in their mind, their body, and their spirit. You know what I mean? That what their mind does, their body wants to do, and their spirit does. You know what I mean? So that's why they're doing the things they do, because they're unified. And they work as one big machine. They know what they're doing. And although it's bad, what they're doing, you know, it's a negative thing, they're working together, and it's efficient. So we need to do the same thing. We need to realize that we are a mind, we are a body, and we are a spirit, and we need to come together and work with one. We need to, you know, pinpoint, laser beam that energy and work together like the machine. We have to learn from them in a way and take what they're using and use it against them, right? To fight back.
Definitely, that's good too. Good point.
Another thing, we've become so ignorant. We've become lazy. We don't want to find solutions to our problems, our own personal problems, let alone the problems of the world. A lot of people will live with the same problem over and over and over again. You know, you see people on whatever, it's on TV, or even people you know that have a problem. You know, let's say fix a toilet, but they won't fix the toilet forever. They'll just leave it. You know, even though it's a pain in the butt, and they should fix it or whatever. Maybe a toilet's a bad example, but my point is that we have problems in our own personal life that we ignore and don't want to fix. How do we ever expect to fix the world? How do we ever expect to fix society if we can't even fix our own problem?
Yeah, totally. That goes with the first point you said with the triple D thing is distraction, right? It's, people are distracted, so they're not getting their problem solved because of the diversions, I think. Big time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then the final one that I've got from my rant I wrote down today is that we are victims. So, yes, we are victims. There's a lot of people say, oh, we shouldn't talk about being victims and we shouldn't think about how we're victims. I disagree. I think we should talk about that because, yes, we are victims. And that's because we have a highly intelligent and well-funded group of psychopaths working extremely hard to keep us slowed and enslaved. And that's the truth. So, yes, we are victims. But the thing is that we have to get over that. We have to get over the fact that we're victims and not dwell on it. We have to learn from it and realize that we still have power. And that's why they're doing the things they do, you know? That's why they're putting so much effort and funding into making us, creating this subclass and turning us into animals and whatnot, and just mind programming and all the money, the trillions of dollars and resources that they spend attacking our brain and attacking our body and all this stuff. The reason why is because we're very powerful beings. If we learn to release it and work together, if we figure that part out, then they're done. That's as simple as that. But we do have to get over the victim mentality. But we do have to pinpoint, and like like the name of your show is, unveil the truth. Unveil the fact that, look, they are doing these awful, awful things, and that's not a conspiracy theory. You just look.
Yeah, you identify the problem, and then you figure out the solution, and you eradicate the problem. And then when the problem's eradicated, it no longer exists. It's not there. It does not. It's non-existent, right? It's been abolished.
Absolutely.
And that's,
but we have to keep in mind, though, that the problem is not just these politicians out there. There's too much finger pointing going on. You know, there's just as many problems inside that we have to fix. You know.
Yeah, you're right. And I think being born in this world and living this way, problems just naturally happen. You know, like everybody's got problems. Everybody's got some sort of problem or another. Like there's some people that have good lives and stuff and they're happy, but I think it's going to what you said. It's because they're in tune with themselves. They've discovered that, yes, I am a powerful person, and they take the initiative and control over themselves, and they actually do what's needed to make life better for themselves. And that's what it's going to take. I think everything you said there was absolutely bang on, and that's very well said. Those are very good points. And
thank you.
And that definitely has a lot to do with consciousness too, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like the whole all-seeing eye thing. You know, people look at that and they're like, "Oh, Illuminati! Oh, Illuminati!" I mean, if you really study what's going on with the all-seeing eye, it's about consciousness. And what do you think? You know, and that's the type of information they're hiding.
Yeah, there's a good song by Dead Can Dance called "In the Kingdom of the Blind, the One-Eyed are King."
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what's going on, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
And they're wiping it in our face. It's like they're being sarcastic about it when you look at the culture, our culture, and you look at the music industry and all that. Basically, what they're doing is kind of giving us the finger, saying, "Ha ha ha, we know this stuff, and you're too stupid to even realize we're showing you." Because if you look at the music industry and the cultural and the movies nowadays, and for a long time it's been like this, they're straight up telling us what's going on.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, they can't be more open about it, except when this is something that not many of them do when it comes to like movie stars or celebrities. Not many of them will come out in an interview and talk about how serious of a problem is going on. But it's in all their movies, or it's in all their music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you watched the movie Tron before?
Yeah, with the old one or the new one?
Yeah, they remade it. So either one really, but that whole concept of transhumanism, building humans into cyborgs, that's something that they're doing more and more. Actually,
man.
My son this Christmas just got a robot, and it's a fake robot, but it does commands, it picks things up, it can swing and hit, it can walk, it can move and shuffle and move things for you. So I think they've always had this technology, but they're just slowly putting it out for us to have. Pretty soon we're going to have like robots that clean our houses, for sure.
I think they'll have. I mean, in my idea, they'll have the robots to clean their house, and we'll be on the street living in a box.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're really heading with it. I think, from my understanding. But the whole transhumanism thing. I mean, it reminds me of, again, the Black Friday sale videos that you showed earlier. The whole idea of that. I would bet that either 5 or 10 years from now, I would say less than 10 years from now, there'll be people punching each other out for a fucking chip.
Yeah, for
You know what I mean?
French fries from McDonald's or something, you know?
No,
crazy.
a chip in their hand, man.
Oh, yeah, that kind of chip. I thought you meant a potato chip.
Yeah, man. No, not potato chip, man. We're talking about GPS and all that control grid. And
well, they got chips already on us in your cell phones.
Yeah, I know, but I swear, man, they're going to be like, oh, everyone will be so dumbed down that they're going to be fighting over getting 50% off their new chip, the new iPhone, iPad chip that goes straight into their hand. And I mean, that's what's going to happen, man.
Yeah, totally. And that movie Tron is pretty crazy how it talks about, memories and stuff like that, and just in other dimensions, going to other dimensions, but also transhumanism, like machine and human mixed together. Definitely. So do you see, like, where do you see the world in 10 years? Like, do you think that the human race will actually realize what's going on and unite just like they do? Do you think that we'll come together, unite, and be able to prevail through this wall here?
It's hard to say what's going to happen. I mean, it's like 50-50. Like, there's a half of me that thinks that people will start waking up and will start caring about positive thoughts and bringing everything together in community. And then there's another half of me that thinks that, holy smokes, man, there's a lot of stupid people still, So I don't know exactly where we're going to head, but there's, I think a lot of people say the same thing, right? That there's a fork in the road. Either we're all going to start realizing that we need to work together and talk about real good things, and then we can fix the problems, or we're not. And then 10 years or 5 years from now, we're going to be fighting over chips. And not the McDonald's ones.
Yeah, totally. And like, I do know that they were talking about microchipping people a while ago. This was like at least a decade ago, and people wouldn't go for that. So that's why they're doing it now covertly in your car, on your cell phone, just any device, and they make you want to have a cell phone no matter what. I've got to have this new technology. I've got to have it. So they're putting chips into that stuff. I'm sure they're doing it in other ways too, in TVs, VCRs. They got cameras on your TVs. The new Xbox has a heartbeat monitor on it.
Yeah, they've got the technology, grid, the tech grid, totally controlled already. But it's more about selling it to the public, right? They really, when it comes to the ritual magic, as far as where my research comes from, they have to reveal their magic to us, or their ritual to us, in order for it to fully work or whatever. So I think at some point in our human race, they will literally want to put the mark of the beast, the chip, into our hand, just because it's been talked about for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, entirely.
So I just, not that they need to, but just the fact that they want everyone to do it. And the thing is that I think majority of people would do it. I bet you a lot of them would do it, because, like, if you look at the way technology is progressing, like you're talking about transhumanism, man, it's only a matter of time where we're not even going to need to wear anything, and there'll be holograms around and all that futuristic stuff like we see in the movies. I mean, look at the rate of technology and how it's developed so quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only a matter of time where there's a full control grid, technological control grid, and it's right in our face, and either you accept it or you don't accept it, and you got to live on the streets, or you can't buy food, or you can't buy gas, or whatever, the whole new world order, quote unquote, theory,
Yeah, totally. Like, I've always been a fan of the G.I. Joe comic books, the old ones from the 80s, as well as the action figure lines and stuff, because the technology that they had back then that they were talking about on the show is all there now. Totally, it's all there now. Like, they have, and it's, some of it's still suppressed. Some of the technology is so suppressed, like glasses with screens on the inside, so you could read and see, monitor certain things, kind of like a computer system, really. But also, there's a professor up here in Sudbury, whose name's Dr. Michael Persinger. He created something called the God Helmet, And what that is where you could use your mind and move things, images on the screen using your mind, just by putting this helmet on your head. So that's what's slowly coming into play with the transhumanism thing, depending more on technology. And we're just going to be, we don't even need to move, you know, we'll just be sitting there like a blob on a couch with a helmet on our head doing it and not moving for entire days on end until our body dies, pretty much, because we're going to be so consumed by this mental onslaught, for sure.
And that is like right around the corner. And the thing is, like, if you talk about this and with regular, let's say, people that don't really follow conspiracy theories or don't do the research or whatever, they think you're a nut if you talk about the fact that's right around the corner. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even though that all the evidence shows that, look at, you know, what's going on. The Google glasses, for instance. I mean, that's going to be everywhere in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Right. And then people, I mean, what's gonna be next after that? You know?
Yeah, like the CIA. Do you see those new watches that they're putting out? They're like cell phones. They're computers on a watch, though. It's like a watch.
Yeah.
Well, the CIA have had that for years. They've always had those watches that do special things, and it's only coming out now, but not on a massive scale. Like, and televisions too. They're going to be all in one soon, with a computer, TV, DVD, VCR, everything all in one.
They pretty much have that, man. This is smart TVs, right?
Yeah. Well, it took a while for them to finally put that out, even though they've had it for so many years. As what I'm saying is, in order to increase profits, they have to suppress the technology and just put it out in little tiny bits.
Change the name, iPad 1, iPad 2, the same friggin' thing, right? Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely. I was going to say something. I can't remember. Oh, well. The technology. Go on.
It happens sometimes. I do that too. You forget what you're going to say.
Yeah.
We had a caller, though, I think, coming through. It seems like it anyways. I'm not sure if they're going to call back, but I missed the call. I've never taken a call on the show, so that would be the first time I would have been able to call in. But if they do call back, I'll answer that, because we do have something on the show where people can call in. It's just when he was calling, you were making your 4 points there, and I didn't want to interrupt that, because that was pretty important.
I remember my point. My point was that they want us basically to rely on Google for any thoughts. I think that's where we're heading. Where, like, we're not even going to know how to wipe our own butts because we got to Google it first.
Yeah, that's a scary thought for sure. But you're right, though. It is coming. Google is your one source for information. Like Wikipedia as well is essentially like the online dictionary for or information source, thesaurus, whatever you want to call it. And people go there for information, all different kinds of information. But Wikipedia is highly suppressed. They put out lies. They don't put people's stories on there. The murderer of Malcolm X, who worked for the FBI, he doesn't even have a page on there. The one for David Morales, CIA connections to RFK and John F. K's assassinations, as well as he's killed all sorts of people. He's not even on there, like a very little page about him. So they are, even Judith Baker, her involvement with the cancer industry and everything she's done, her books, who she is as a human being on this earth and what she's done, is not on Wikipedia. So that's evidence that they are only allowing us certain information and the rest is withheld. And I think you're right. Google will be the one stop. For sure.
Well, it's like the electric car, you know, who held back the electric car kind of thing, or free energy. I mean, we all know, it should be common sense. It goes back to the whole common sense thing that there should be free energy by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a big one right there. And especially with what happened recently in our province here, Ontario, there was an ice storm a week or two ago, and people went without power, and people died. People were dying because they had no heat, no electricity, and they couldn't comprehend. They didn't know what to do, so they died. And there's also people with carbon monoxide poisoning from plugging in generators and stuff like that. They were sucking in fumes. There's people that died from that. Tons of people are in the hospital now sick from that. And that's a result of withholding free energy, really. If we had free energy, those people would still be alive today.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have the wars, and, you know, we wouldn't have to rely on, you know, all these oil companies and blah, blah, blah. It would totally change the world. And that's why they'll never give it to us unless we demand it. But yeah, man, free energy. That's the thing. Like, these things are common sense. I mean, as soon as you understand, anyone out there that understands, hey, They're lying about free energy. They're lying about the technology. All your news, all your TV is a lie. It's all nonsense. You know, the politicians don't care, because if they did, they would tell you what I'm saying. They would tell you what Mark's saying.
Yeah.
You know, they would tell what these people don't care. The politicians and stuff. They're forcing regular people like us to do stuff. You know, whatever. I think it's a part of the ritual or something. But basically, we need to stand up as citizens, as human beings, more likely. But yeah, we need to stand up and start demanding, something positive. That's what we need. We need to demand positive change, because it's not happening.
You were involved with the March Against Corruption, as well as March Against Monsanto. So there is protests going on, and some of these are international protests. They're not just national protests or even local or provincial protests. They're actual international protests going on all around the world, same day for the same cause. But still, nothing's changing. So there's got to be... I still haven't figured this out. But it links directly to what you said earlier. We have to change ourselves first before we can change the world, really. And that's why all these protests are happening, and people are waking up and they're banding together, doing protests and stuff, but it's having little effect because the problems are still there. So I still haven't figured out what we really need to do to end this and actually change it. Like, do you have any ideas or thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't have all the solutions, but I have been thinking about that for a while, right? Because that's something, you meditate and dwell on, you reflect on and say, what's really going on and how can we solve these problems? So I did write down some ideas from earlier. And one of the things that kind of annoys me, I am kind of angry about things, but I'm trying to be a positive guy about it, right? But the thing is that, for example, like the March Against Corruption protest that we had in Oshawa, there's 150,000 people in Oshawa, I think, and only 20 people showed up. So that right there says something to me. I think that that shows like a huge problem, that there's 150,000 people, but only 20 people show up, And also, if you look on Facebook or these other different groups, like there's a lot of people that would consider themselves politically in the know when it comes to Oshawa. I mean, there's groups of these people that bicker at each other for hours on end, writing stories and essays about how this counselor is bad or this one's good or blah, blah, blah. But these people never showed up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they're on Facebook writing essays about counselors that don't care about them, and when they have a chance to actually get out in front or whatever, they choose not to. And then also, a lot of these people choose not to support people trying to do something or make a difference, which is sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that division thing that you're talking about. I think people are divided, and personal problems get in the way sometimes when you're really supposed to be fighting for the truth and spreading awareness and solutions, and you can't have solutions when you're divided and not working together.
No, and I think where a lot of it stems from, or one of the main factors, is the whole idea of idol worship, and that's been playing a big key point for me, and I'm going to do a couple videos about it. The fact that there's too much idol worship going on, whether it's in the truth community or any other aspect of society where someone idolizes another being or another thing just because, right? So what you've got is people who idolize people, and then if that thing does one thing wrong, they don't like them anymore. Or let's say an example I used in a video before is that if I talk for an hour about something, and then in the last 5 minutes I say something that you don't like, or something that's completely stupid or whatever, people will just write me off, completely write me off, rather than instead of looking at the 55 minutes that I said earlier, where it's like good points one after the other, right? And that's has a problem, because too many people are idolizing people, and they hold them up to some sort of pedestal when we're all just human. You know what I mean? We're all just trying to figure it out. Just because someone says something stupid or someone does something mean or whatever doesn't mean that they're a bad person, and that doesn't mean that you should go on Facebook and talk trash about them or start. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense, especially if that person is actually trying to change things, like to make a positive change.
Yeah,
You know, so
if you wound a truther, a fellow truth soldier, they're gonna have a harder time reconnecting to make changes, and that's what's happening. I think a lot of people are getting stabbed in the backs and all this other stuff, and then it causes them not to be so involved, or they just totally withdraw from anything, and then nothing gets solved. And that's one of their tactics that they've used. They used to do that with COINTELPRO back in the day, the FBI, where they were infiltrating black movement groups, civil rights groups and stuff. They were causing them to bicker at each other and fight with one another. And when Malcolm X was assassinated, perfect example, they were blaming it on the Nation of Islam. You know what I mean? They said, oh, the Nation of Islam is the one who killed him, because they purposely planted seeds of tension in there beforehand, before he was assassinated. And then later we find out the truth that the agents, the guys that were killed, had ties to the FBI and all this stuff. So the truth always comes out.
That's exactly what's happening now, and it's not just in Oshawa. I think it's, like you said, I think it's in a lot of cities and a lot of these activist groups. That's what's happening. And the thing is that I don't even think it's COINTELPRO, although maybe that they're doing it in some of the groups. I think a lot of it is largely just because a lot of people are addicted to drama nowadays.
Yeah.
And they just want to make their life like a soap opera so that they have something to live for or whatever. I don't know why they're doing it, but it's happening, and that's one of the things that are holding back positive changes. The fact that we can't just let bygones be bygones and look for the better, and and talk things out. It's that communication where, that Guns N' Roses song. We have a failure to communicate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a movie clip. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. The movie clip. I'm not sure what movie it's from, but that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
we're not communicating. Right. We need to learn to communicate. We can't communicate without yelling at each other. We can't communicate. We're scared to talk to each other about our problems. We're living in a fear-based, mind-controlled trance, and it's getting us nowhere. And I'm a victim of it, and you're a victim of it, and we all need to learn to get over it and work together, right?
Yeah, and one thing that I think is really profound, what you said earlier, is how the elite, or these so-called elite, these globalists, have their stuff down. They're focused, they're united, they're educated, and they have positions of power. So it's really hard to break that stronghold. But you're right, I think we need to form in the same formation, which is one thing I've always said, and a lot of people are like, oh, why do you research on secret societies, Freemasons, all this stuff? It's like, well, you know what I mean? Because you need to know in order to create a resistance against that. You need to know your enemy. Sun Tzu said it best in The Art of War. You need to know your enemy, otherwise you'll never be able to break through and infiltrate. And I think a lot of people are involved because of that.
Well, the simple fact is that these societies, and it's more than just the Masons, it's all these different societies, are withholding knowledge from us because it gives them power over us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's important to try to figure out what they know as best as we can with the tools that we have in order for us to take that power back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of knowledge. I mean, if you're like a Mason and stuff, they got to pay dues. Like all these, and it's not just money. Like a lot of these people that are in these secret societies, they pay with blood. They go through these different rituals of just dehumanizing treatment and blah 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 to learn how to manipulate and control things and how to control people like us, and they look at us like a different species, man. Like they can do what they will with us because they know how we think and they know how to manipulate the way we think. So, and then they know how the world works,
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to Mark Passio. This is stuff that I've learned from Mark Passio. Again, check him out if you guys don't know who Mark Passio is, because he's got a lot of great knowledge, and he's coming out with lots of new stuff too. It's the whole idea that in these secret societies, they teach micro knowledge and then macro knowledge, where micro knowledge is more individualism and psychology of man and how to manipulate us, and then macro knowledge is like the universal and how the spiritual and how we connect with the universe and all that type of stuff. So they actually studies in these mystery schools. They study these things,
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the different mystery schools, I'm sure you know this, you found this out, on your research too, is that all these mystery schools kind of study the same type of things, except they have different groups. One group may be the Masons, one might be the Shriners, one might be the Satanists, or blah blah,
Knights
the
of
vampires,
Malta
blah.
and this and
Knights
that,
of
yeah.
Malta.
Yeah.
Exactly. They have all these different groups, right? I'm sure you can name a whole bunch if you want to.
There's lots,
name
yeah.
some.
There's
Yeah.
tons for sure, and it's hard to figure out if they're all connected, but it seems like it. It seems like you need to get one, then when you graduate from one group, you get to go to the next. You progress. Skull and Bones is another big one, where it's. I'll point out something that you mentioned earlier, is where they will make you take homosexual pictures or make you commit homosexual acts upon somebody else, and then they'll exploit you if they ever need to. Not just homosexual acts, but they'll make you do something totally degrading so that they know that if you ever do anything step out of line, they'll destroy your character. They'll assassinate your character using that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Skull and Bones is a big one for that, for sure.
Yeah, well, the CIA was doing that back in. I'm sure you know this because you know
Yeah.
a lot about the CIA thing. They're I don't know when, like the 50s or 60s or whatever, when they used to have UN ambassadors and politicians, and then they would videotape them in their hotel rooms doing weird things, whether it's with prostitutes or children or whatever, and then they would blackmail them, right?
Yeah, and J. Edgar Hoover was also, blackmailed or whatever in the same fashion. The mafia had pictures of him doing homosexual acts, and they threatened him all the time. Like, if you go against us, we'll release your secret to the public. The secret was eventually revealed, but it kept his mouth shut for quite a while,
Mm-hmm.
And
So I think there is some of that. Go on.
Yeah, and he even said that there's no such thing as the mob or the mafia. He was quoted as saying that,
Yeah.
lies.
Yeah, lies. Well, I mean, there is that type of thing going on, right? I mean, that's why a lot of it's controlled still, like politics and all that type of stuff. But at the same time, within these groups, I think a lot of it is working together, like we were discussing earlier. A lot of them are a well-oiled machine. They know exactly what they want, and they know how to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there are no conflicts in a lot of these places. They're just doing what they do. And like we were talking about earlier, so I think a lot of these different groups are all studying the same type of knowledge, and it's just that they're using this knowledge, this higher consciousness knowledge, to do bad things, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And to keep the secrets from us of ever learning about our potential, our abilities, or our history. I think it was very important what you said. Where do we come from? You said that's something that you were really wondering about, and I wonder that as well. And that's something I've been actively researching the last few months, anyways. Is where do we come from? And then I started getting into the grand architect aspect of things. That this could not possibly have been created naturally on its own. Something had to have influenced it or created it or started it to evolve in such a way. And then you get into the discussion of God. God is the grand architect, or different religions will try to play it off as one way or another. But I think these secret societies are really holding those secrets on who we are, why we're here. And one thing that you mentioned earlier, I think is very bang on too, is that we are a slave race. And that's something that I've been researching a lot more lately. What are your inputs on that?
I think that I don't know where the human beings come from, or the human race comes from yet. I have done research on it myself too, and there's a lot of evidence pointing towards some sort of genetic manipulation from an outer species or something like that. So that could be what's going on, and the fact that like maybe we're some sort of super being that we've been created, or maybe we're a slave race, but that doesn't mean we're not super powerful too, right? I think that at some point we did have, or we were using more of our brain, and we were able to communicate far more effectively than we have been, or that we are now, the way we are now. And I think that's really one of the key things that the elite don't want us to figure out, is that in the past we've been better, and that not everything, because they've sold this idea that we've, in the past we were like monkeys and we're apes and we're like pooing on our hands and throwing at each other, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's really what was going on. I think back in the past we were highly intelligent. I mean, if you look at the structures that we built, if
Absolutely, yeah.
and the way they line up with the stars, I mean, we knew some serious stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a race, and then
now most people don't even know that.
Oh, they don't know anything, man. They don't even know how to get the TV on sale without punching each other in the face, right?
I think you're right. Like a long time ago, we were more smarter, we're more in tune with ourselves and why we're here. But then eventually, somebody erased that history. Somebody wanted us. They learned about psychology, especially child-adolescent psychology, and that's the key point. The key time in a person's life is when they're young, because then you can instill belief in them and actions and behaviors. And I think that's what's going on a massive global scale.
Well, it's like satanic ritual abuse, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're talking about, the whole super soldier aspect of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, we can get over it as long as we can learn these things and we can start communicating effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah,
communication is key for sure. And if you looked at Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber or somebody like that, a star, I guess if you will, a Hollywood star, an idol, as you said. If you look at these people, they're picked and chosen, and a lot of people strive to be something like that. You know what I mean? And they're concerned about these idols and stars more than themselves, and they just disassociate themselves entirely from reality.
Well, it goes back to the whole childlike syndrome. Like they're keeping us in an adolescent point in psychology. We're keeping us like childlike, and that's why you've got so much drama going on, like we were talking about earlier, and that's why we're idolizing these celebrities, these puppets and sacrificial lambs like Justin Bieber and whatnot, because a lot of these people live terrible lives, I would think, because a lot of them end up on drugs and dying of drug overdoses and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So
and
I don't know
privacy and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know why people idolize those people. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's crazy because Justin Bieber will get like 75 million hits, let's just say, for his new video. And if we had a single video about truth and wisdom and awakening and stuff like that, and if it got that many hits, the world would be alive and awake in like overnight. It'd be an overnight sensation. So I think one of the key things here in winning this battle is the media and also education. Media and education kind of go hand in hand there, because we need to teach our children, we need to teach people what's going on and make it go viral, make it like a big trend, make it, it's got to be the trendiest thing in the world, I think, for it to work.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely that's what needs to happen. Whether or not that's going to happen, that's hard to say, because, again, I think the problem is that a lot of people are waiting for someone else to say what they already know. I mean, the fact is that we all know. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the Western world that doesn't know that there's an issue with poverty or there's an issue with pollution. You know what I mean? So people are living in poverty and dying of poverty and hunger, and the world is being polluted and turned to like this hell on earth because of all the corporatism. And these are concepts that people already know. Like if you talk to a regular person, they'd say, oh yeah, there's lots of poverty still, and oh yeah, pollution's a problem. But no one's doing anything about it. And we're all waiting for Justin Bieber to come out and say, oh, we got to do something about the earth. Yeah. Or, oh, we got to do something. You know what I mean? It's like, why are we waiting? Why are we waiting for these celebrities to say something? Because they're not going to, because they're paid not to.
Yeah. And they're killed if they do.
Exactly, that too. Whether it's physically killed or like their career.
Yeah, character assassination. Yeah, and that happens a lot, and that's why a lot of times in the media you'll see stories covering a star so much or somebody so much because they're trying to destroy their character and ruin their credibility, really.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it goes back to the idol worship. For instance, in the last couple months, I guess, I think he's been talking about Russell Brand. I want to talk about Russell Brand quickly. I think he's been talking about these ideas of, how we need to come together and unify global consciousness and all that for a while. But it's only been in the last couple months where people has been really clicking on his videos, and his video's been going viral. His interview with Pac-Man where he was talking about it. But then you have within the same group of people that I think majority of them would agree with the whole idea of we need to work together and like poverty is an issue and all that. But then you have all these people talking trash about Russell Brand, saying how, oh, you're bad, you're a COINTELPRO because you talk about socialism, or you talk about this, or you talk about that. So they're like throwing his ideas right out the door because of the fact that he talks about socialism once or twice. You know what I mean? And that's really a big problem. That's one of the major things that are holding us back, is that we can't let go of certain ideas. We should be able to pinpoint and pick and choose what we want to believe out of a person. You know, if Russell Brand says 10 good points and one of them's a flop, well, that's okay. I still like his 10 good points. I'm not going to throw him under the bus just because his, the 11th one I don't agree with.
Yeah.
You know, and
totally. And it seems like if you do want change and you are seeking for social change anyways, you will get called a socialist. I've been called that so many times. People are calling me a socialist, communist. I get all sorts of emails, name calling, comments on my videos, and it's not even close to that. I don't subscribe to communism. I don't subscribe to socialism. There is good things about it, but there's also bad things about it. What I'm trying to strive for is something totally unnamed. I think it's common sense is what it's called. That's what it's called, right?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up, because now I remember I saw that video of you over in the Conspiracy Culture store, right?
Yeah, in Toronto.
Yeah, in Toronto. Someone called you a socialist, and he was really mad about it.
Yeah, he got up and left the meeting. And Lawrence McCurry was there, who's a pretty well-known media guy in Toronto, as well as Toronto Truth Seekers. They were there, and they were there. They happened to document that and make sure it was on their video and stuff, you know what I mean? So they did get an inside scoop from that, I guess. But when I went out there and I talked to the Toronto Truth Seekers and Lawrence after the interview and stuff, or after the seminar, they were asking me, are you socialist? They seem to think something about me. I don't know what it is. I mean, they're great people, like definitely great people and stuff like that. But I mean, I just would like them to know that I'm definitely not a communist. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a Mason. I'm nothing like that. I'm just a humanitarian, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to like that whole. What?
I just want to see better for the world. That's all, and I'll do whatever it takes, really.
Exactly. It goes the whole fear-based mind control, right? I'm not saying. I mean, we're all victims of the fear-based mind control. But if you're scared that someone says, hey, we need to redistribute wealth properly because these people up top are destroying the planet, and they're called a socialist and everyone's scared of them, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Because that's a very common, like you said, common sense. Common sense says, hey, there's not enough money down here. These people are still poor. Let's take some money from the rich people up there, the people that have trillions of dollars and they're doing absolutely nothing to help the planet, and let's fund these people down here because maybe they'll help the planet. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if that makes me a socialist and everyone hates me about that, then, well, you obviously don't understand what's happening, in my opinion.
And not only that, but there's other ways of doing it. You don't just have to take money from the top and put it down at the bottom, or equalize it, or communist, or whatever you want to call that. There's other ways of doing it. I mean, if you get rid of money entirely, you just get rid of money, wipe it off the planet. You know what I mean? Everybody's equal. You work, you do your part. Okay, well, if you don't want to, grow vegetables and food, then we're not going to eat. And people will see that as a problem. It'll become normal, the way of living as generations pass. But they don't want to get rid of money. What they want to do is get rid of individual currencies and then conglomerate it all into one currency, one global currency, so that we're still restricted and maintained, and there would still be inequality no matter what. If you got dollars and cents in the equation, there's going to be inequality somewhere along the line. Somebody's making money, somebody's losing it. That's the way money works, pretty much.
Well, and like, you don't have to take the money from the top people on top, but the problem is these people on top don't deserve the money, right? So that would be my argument, right? I do agree with you, the fact that, we all need it's just about the conscious shift, right? We need to start realizing we need to work together and be responsible for ourselves and our community and therefore our planet, right? So, I think what happens is, the problem is that people think that, socialism will never work. It'll only work with the barrel of a gun, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because people are still not at that conscious level where we can actually have socialism that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would have to be changed. Like it could be altered, changed, weeded out, experimented with. That's what's going on, and that's what's happening. Politics and governments have been experimental over the years. That's why we have all these new, neocons, conservatives, liberals. Those all were developed from ideas. They weren't always there. So who's to say that a new idea, a better idea, can't come into play? And I wouldn't call it socialism. I wouldn't call it anything really except life, making a living instead of making a killing.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing it together, living as a global community. That's another thing I want to talk about. Like a lot of these people in the truth movement or that are into the conspiracy theory. If you say things like socialism, like you said, or global community, people get all scared and they're like, oh no, you're talking about a global new world order. It's like, well, maybe a new world order isn't such a bad idea, but I think what people need to, from my understanding, the only way we can actually have a positive new world order is if our consciousness change again. If we stop this whole like the making a killing idea. If we stop treating each other like animals and stop punching each other in the face over a TV, then maybe a new world order could work. You know what I mean?
Well, there's definitely needs to be more connection around the world, definitely. We need to share ideas more fluently and pass information, help each other around the world for sure. But I definitely don't agree with one world government, one world banking, one world currency, one religion. You know what I mean? I do believe in the freedom of expression and individualism and creationism, creating works of art and stuff like that. Where if you had it all ruled by one group, then it would definitely be a dictatorship. I'm not sure if you're familiar with. I'm sure you're familiar with the movie V for Vendetta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a great comic book that's actually based off a comic book from the 80s, and I've read the comic. It's a bunch of books. I managed to get the book with all the comics in it, and the storyline is just unbelievable. It's so much more in detail than the movie, and that's exactly what that is. Everything is ruled. It's a body. It's a world body pretty much, and it's ruled by, like for instance, the intelligence community is the ear, because they listen. The bodyguards, the enforcers, the police are the fingers. The mouth is the government or the media, because they speak and they teach or they dictate. So I see that kind of happening in today's world. It's starting to slowly transition into that kind of world where they're abolishing certain things and individualism, expressionism, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like the New World Order as explained by Hitler in World War II and obviously Bush, and even before that in Roman times, that I don't think would work.
No, I don't. I agree with you. Like I'm not saying that they're New World Order. I'm talking about like more of like a musician's New World Order, where it's freedom and creativity and like all the good things, but we could still have technology and we could still be connected. But I think we need to have that whole like the spirit. We need the spirit to come back. We need that whole higher consciousness and that type of thing. And then we could have a world order, but not necessarily their world order, like something positive,
Yeah, like their New World Order, what they're trying to put in play is definitely dictatorship. It's definitely a worldwide dictatorship.
That's hell on earth.
I know exactly what you're saying though. You would want a New World Order in a way that we're helping each other. It's benefiting everybody. It's not meant to constrict us and make us slaves and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's what I think we were trying to say for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, like, we can't force that. You can't force that type of thing with laws and policy and penalties and all these type of things. That type of concept of a new world order has to come from inside. We've got to start changing ourselves and let it happen organically and let it evolve naturally.
Organically, yeah, great way of putting it. And what you were saying earlier too, it's very profound too, and very right and accurate. And a term came to my mind just here is spiritual impotence. It seems like a lot of people are impotent when it comes to spirituality. I guess that's a good way of explaining it. Spiritual impotence, where it's not working for them. They can't possibly connect with themselves. It's like they're not working. Once you have that spirituality, whether it be you're a Christian, a Muslim, it doesn't matter what your faith is. If you're believing in something spiritually, that's a good thing, I think. It helps people. It really does help people when they're spiritual. But a lot of people they don't even know where to begin to look for that kind of thing.
Absolutely. I think based on my research, and there's a guy out there named Sevan Bomar, Sevan Bomar the third. He's got a site called The Resistance 2010. He talks about a lot of spiritualistic kind of ideas and decoding the matrix and all these crazy things that are really informative and really cool to look at. One of the things that he brings up is the idea that they want to sever our connection with our spiritual self, and basically we're living in a realm where they want to force us to be living in the physical reality. They don't want us to understand the spiritual or the outside of our physical self. And he calls it the phi-based reality, or the five, and that's where you got the pentagram, and there's a lot of cool symbols when it comes to that. So basically they want us just to look at materialistic world, and we're only the physical self, we're only the materialistic world, without understanding that there's another version of reality, or there's a greater dimension that we can't necessarily see with our two eyes. And if we don't if we can't understand that or reflect on that, and we don't really relate with another spiritual self, then they can control us like we're animals again, right? Then we don't feel like we're a part of God, or the God, whatever you want to call it, greater consciousness or the universe. If they can sever that connection that we have with the universe, then they can treat us with whatever way they want us to treat us, and we will treat each other the same way.
We are what we eat, essentially, and we are what we are taught, and what we perceive reality to be, really. And I don't think it's too late. I do think that there's a lot of people waking up. I mean, when people are making websites like yours, brainfeed.ca, putting this information out there, there's lots of great people that you mentioned too. You gave their sites to check out for the listeners out there. There's a lot of people that are involved in getting this information out there and trying to change the world however they can. And that's from an individualistic approach to things. I mean, it does work in groups as well, but the individual is basically the key piece there. You gotta do it for yourself. You gotta do the work it takes to get her done.
I like that you brought that up, because a couple days ago, I guess it was a week ago or so, I was thinking about, like, why am I doing this, the whole brain feed thing? And for a while it was because I wanted to wake people up, and I wanted to get the videos out there, and I wanted to make sure it was people understood what was going on and stuff. But now I think it's just because it's the right thing to do. It's simply the right thing to do, to try to get the information out there and just do as much as you can.
That's awesome. It's simply the right thing to do. That, folks, is words of wisdom right there.
Thank you. And I also like what you're talking about. It's not easy to do this stuff too, and I think that anyone out there that is watching this, or comes by the videos, or listens to anyone else, like any other Mark or any other shows like Mark does, or any other networks like the Truth Broadcast Network, they need to help support. People need to support each other that are doing these type of things, because no one else is going to support us, and the elite, these controllers, aren't going to support us. So we need the people to support us, and the support doesn't just come in a form of money either. Support, a lot of the best support is like promoting and helping and spreading the word. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sharing links and stuff like that.
Exactly. And that brings me to another point that I was thinking about last week, that I was kind of pissed me off a little bit. It's not good enough. Anyone out there on Facebook, man, and if you're into this knowledge and you know about what's going on and all that, and you're like, you call yourself a truther or whatever, it's not good enough just to like a link or like a picture or like a video. If you don't, you got to share that video, or you got to share those links, because it doesn't do any good to us if you just like it. You got to share it, man. You got to send emails to your friends and families. You got to get it out there.
Yeah, you're right. And that's permanent. When you post a link to your page or somebody else's page, when you share a link, that's permanent. It doesn't go away. So it's always there. You can go back 2 years from now, scanning through someone's page. Oh, look at this post. There it is. And then somebody will learn something from what you've posted.
Absolutely. Because you know what, man? Eventually, and this is the truth, this is what I think, is that eventually we're all going to need to do, like people that are social activists or whatever, and especially people covering this type of conspiracy information, controversial stuff, we're going to have to start going door to door eventually.
Yeah.
You know, and talk. Like, really, that's what's going to happen. We're going to have a group of people to go door to door and hand out pamphlets and knock on doors and say, this is what's going on, you know, just like the Mormons, man.
Yeah, canvassing, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, that's where we're going to have to head with things if we really want to, you know, make any changes.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we're almost out of time there. We got a few minutes left. I was just wondering, the viewers out there, definitely check out brainfeed.ca. Check out Walter's work. I was just wondering if you could give the viewers, you know, what's on the future for Brainfeed, or if you have any final comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So futures for Brainfeed, January 9th in Durham region. So anyone out there in the Durham region, in Oshawa and Ajax and, you know, so on and so forth, we're having Dr. Paul Connett come down and talk about the dangers of water fluoridation. And he will be at the CAW Hall 222 on January 9th. And you can find information about that on freedurhamfromfluoride.com. And
that's great. Paul Connett's awesome, for sure.
Yeah,
That's great
he
work.
knows his stuff. What else am I going to be up to? I'm going to be doing a lot more videos in the coming new year about psychology, secret societies, pop culture, music, and other things. I also want to have an event, probably. I don't know when yet. I haven't planned it out, but in the new year about just like a Brainfeed event. I want to have like speakers and maybe a band or two play. What
That's
else?
awesome.
This year, I think I'm going to dedicate myself and try to do a documentary film. I like how you do documentary films, and that's awesome.
Hey, that's cool. Like, if you can make a documentary, I would definitely encourage you to do so. It gets information out there, and people watch that for sure. So if you need any help too, let me know. You know, I'll definitely help you with whatever you need there.
Will do. And finally, I'm just going to continue promoting positive ideas and people pushing positive ideas like what you're doing, Mark, and others. I really want to focus Brainfeed in on promoting these ideas, like not just about my own ideas, but really getting the other ideas out there, because that's really where my own ideas stem from, is listening to people like you and other people, right?
Yeah, that's cool. It's good to grow and adapt and evolve, you know? That's how we evolve, for sure.
And that's cool. About it, Mark. I wanna thank you for having me on, and thank the Truth Broadcast Network for setting you up with a show. That was cool how synchronism happened there, right?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to come on the show here and let people know who you are, because like you said, it's your first interview, but I thought you were an individual that needed to do something like this. You know, you need to get your voice heard. You got a lot of good ideas. You're a very smart person, very talented, independent. You're a lot of good things, and I definitely thought it was important to have you on the show today. So thank you very much for giving us your mind for the last couple hours, you know, for sure.
Man, thanks for your time too, and thanks for having me on, man. That's awesome.
Hey, no problem. And we'll be in touch very soon.
When I do a show, I'd like to have you on as well, so we'll figure that out.
Yeah, for sure. Anything you need, you know how to get a hold of me, and we got to keep connected. We got to stay connected and keep working together, for sure.
Sounds good, man. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Walter.
Bye, everyone.
Well, there we have it. Walter Harris of Brainfeed.ca. Definitely a very great individual, great person. He has a lot of great ideas. He's definitely informed, and he's got a good background on you know, the school and what how he's involved in activism and events and stuff like that. So it was great to have him on the show today. He's not a well-known person, but that doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not out for egos or anything like that. I'm not looking for people that are huge names or anything. I mean, if you're awakened, you're aware, you're experienced, you've got a website, you've got a new, you know, you write articles, whatever you do, get in touch. Let's do this. Let's spread awareness however we can. I mean, 2014 is now upon us, and I'm definitely going to try to push the envelope on this show here on Unveiling the Truth and bring you guys some really good guests, unknown speakers, some well-known speakers, obviously, as well. But I do want to keep going with this, and I'll never stop until the truth is unveiled. So I want to thank everybody for sticking around and watching today. I'm going to play a quick video here from Payday Monsanto, who's definitely a great hip-hop artist. And for closing statements, this song is called Hitler's Dream Come True, and there's a lot of truth in this video. So thanks for watching Unveiling the Truth. Next week we have Kevin Galilei. Definitely going to be an awesome interview about Agenda 21, the depopulation policy, and it's his first Canadian media appearance. So definitely looking forward to having him on the show as well. So again, thanks for watching, guys.
When Ariel Sharon said, "I don't care what the American people think, I own the Congress," it should create significant concern for all Americans, especially because he is probably correct. Can you say bank robbery?
Can they fuck with your pop? No, no, no. Can they corrupt you like a cop? Are they dealing with the truth? No, no, no. Are you ever gonna stop? Would you ever take a bribe? No, no, no. Could you never make it live? I know you seen the news. No, no, no. I know you paid all of your dues. I know you see the way these parasites they feed. They cold-blooded killers and they thrive on greed. They stole your mother nature and deprived your needs. Demonized your marijuana and prescribed your speed. That's why I chill with Bob Shapiro today. Everybody wanna be Robert De Niro today. They charging you triple while a zero they pay. Nothing can save you, they took all of your heroes away. I spit the thunder very clearly, still I wonder can they hear me? I'ma put a dick in them, I'm tripping them like Timmy Leary. You got a wild imagination, magic bullet theory. All respect the caliber, no doubt about it. I'll sincerely give it away like a Shylight song. Wake the fuck up, you living in the Twilight Zone. It's all just a movie, I defy anybody to prove me wrong. I know you probably think it's groovy, but it's Hitler's dream come to pass. War on the poor and middle class. They don't know how long it's gonna last. The perfect storm, it won't pass. Your worst nightmare came true, and there ain't a thing you can do. If you don't see, you've been blind, man, it's time to respond. There's a war on your mind.
We got the new electronic voting machines in place. What the hell are you gonna do to us, punk? We got cops with machine guns and black ski masks, and you've got your little national ID cards, slaves.
They wanna put a chip in you, imprison you in Xanadu, unleash your epidemic and offer you Tamiflu. I told you they got viruses that target your race, right under your nose and all in your face. They got you worshiping the 17 Jesus while they're praising the devil in the bohemian breezes. You watch their movie, they control you with the TV. Child Psych 101 is rather easy. Clowns and jokers, they be talking about the same shit. Same exact theater master and the same script. Alternative lifestyles are funded, they ain't hip. I don't play they silly game cause their game's fixed. Predators now have special rights. Pedophiles are selected to protect your tykes. Neocons got their new Pearl Harbor. Hell bent on bringing you their new world order with them. Hitler's dream come to pass. War on the poor and middle class. They don't know how long it's gonna last. The perfect storm, it won't pass. Your worst nightmare came true, and there ain't a thing you can do. If you don't see, you've been blind, man, it's time to respond. There's a war on your mind. They got big cluster bombs for your third world slums. Chicken hawk neocons love to beat them drums. They gave you a problem like nothing before, and the solution that they offering is much, much more of that orchestrated war that never gonna bring an ender. They utilize the poor to further their world agenda. Remember, that jet fuel stuff is pure bullshit. You should've known that when Silverstein said pull it. I bet you Liberty Dollars, the Dunkin' Donuts. Now listen, 9/11 was carried out with military precision by rogue elements is lurking in our government. You trusting them, they loving it. You gluttons for their punishment. Atrocities they committing are draconian. That shouldn't surprise you, they money systems Babylonian. Illuminati bloodlines are quick to lend you their dough. It seems to follow them wherever they go. All their powers emanating from London and the Vatican. They own all of the banks and they come in for your cash to end. Their scare tactics are sick. They've implanted their fear. Now they plan on implanting their chips, and that's war. Hitler's dream come to pass. War on the poor and middle class. They don't know how long it's gonna last. The perfect storm, it won't pass. Your worst nightmare came true, and there ain't a thing you can do. If you don't see, you've been blind, man, it's time to respond. There's a war on your mind.
Do you know how to keep your children safe? We'll tell you tonight.
In the next year, you'll be able to use your teen's cell phone to locate them 24/7. Younger children will get a small global positioning device hidden in their wristwatch or backpack. And just around the next high-tech corner, an electronic chip like this that can be implanted under your kid's skin.
Can't that only be a good thing for the community if it keeps children safe?
Why, we've been doing it with doggies for years.